Heart to Hearties. This is the official after show and podcast where we bring your questions directly to our cast and crew. I'm Marg from San Diego.
And I'm Jen from Seattle.
And I'm from Jeanette from Michigan, and I'm really bummed that we weren't doing hats. Were we not doing hats?
I'm wearing a hat. Oh yeah, I see.
Really disappointed in my co-host today, but we'll roll with it.
Thanks for bringing the hat.
Yeah, so the birthday boy himself is here with us.
Yeah,
your
a little
birthday is
older, little
tomorrow.
wiser, a little
Is that
sore.
right?
Oh well, I guess I will be. Yes.
The
Yeah. I mean
talent,
that's what I
the
heard.
guy who brings us Nathan for a gazillion seasons now. Kevin McGarry, thank you for
Woohoo!
Here I am.
Birthday
thank you
boy.
for being with
Woohoo!
you.
I'm gonna say Nathan's older than I am too. I played Nathan to be 52. Did you guys know that?
News.
He's
Breaking
actually
news,
52.
Hearties.
Breaking news. Because I don't think we've ever
52
actually
and
talked
an
about how
opposite
old.
love. That's very interesting.
Yeah, we haven't never talked about how old Nathan is. Is there anybody on the show that has a designated age? I guess Allie. Allie had a 60, or what was her birthday? There was like a
Sweet 16, I think.
was it 16? Yeah. But like I'm trying to think
right.
if anybody have we ever found out how old Elizabeth is?
I don't think
think
so.
we
They need
do.
to do like a milestone birthday on Win Calls.
Yeah, we should figure out how old everybody. I think Jack. How old is Bill? Oh,
We should check
where?
in with Allie Devereaux because she keeps that Bible and she would be able to tell you.
I
There
don't
you
know.
go.
Time is so fluid in Hope Valley. That's really going to mess with Hearties if we start
That's
assigning
true.
actual ages to the
We're all
characters.
just the same age. It's all a big dream, and we're all just nobody gets older.
We recently saw that you traveled to Los Angeles and attended the ridiculously iconic Elton John Oscar party.
Yeah, that's what happens when you got
need to
a
know
famous movie
everything.
star wife now. Yeah.
Fabulous.
Yeah, I mean, we went down and it was a great time. We got to see we got to see him perform with Chaperone, and yeah, it was a big treat, and I was happy to be arm candy.
So good. Have you seen Elton John perform before?
Not that close.
Yeah.
And and not like, yeah, not when he's 2 feet in front of you in some spots. It was pretty wild.
Wow.
And he's amazing. He still got it. That guy's still got it.
And Chaperone is from Missouri. I'm originally from Kansas City, so my whole
Oh
state
yeah,
was just way into her. But that was
Kansas City was beautiful. I was just in Kansas City with
I
half the other
know.
cast.
Did you
Yeah, it was my
enjoy?
first time. Oh, it was great. I mean, that was the mecca of Hallmark. We were at the compound, and it was incredible. I mean, we never really left. We went to one barbecue spot.
We went to Jack Stack.
Jack Stack. That
Yeah.
was it was great. Kansas City barbecue is pretty amazing.
Yeah, we had a lot of conversation with Chris about the beans.
Yeah, and he was farting the whole time after that. So
You just pitched in that softball.
yeah.
No, I handed it right to you. They had like chunks of brisket in the beans.
Yes, and the beans. I remember because we got way too much food. We couldn't finish it all. But it was
Chris evidently
incredibly
did not
delicious.
think so. He did not think there was too much food.
Oh, did he finish it? I just remember being at the end of the table with him and Kevin, and I mean, I had to tap out. I remember we got this onion ring tower that like basically hit the roof. And then after that, I was kind of, but there was the beans. Did he finish them? Man, that guy's got a bottomless pit of the stomach.
He seems to say that was the case. So, who did you hobnob with at the Oscars party? We must know.
Oh,
We're like,
other
spill
than your
all the
famous
tea.
wife.
I mean, honestly, I only had eyes for my famous wife. That's the only one I was looking at.
Oh, good answer.
Yeah, that is the right
She looked
answer.
so amazing. Wow.
Yeah, she did. Yeah, she was pretty.
Stunning.
She was
Yeah,
pretty
yeah.
spectacular.
Did she have fun with the glam?
Oh, she always has. She always has fun with the
Oh,
glam.
she
That
enjoyed
is.
that.
Oh yeah, she loves the glam.
Okay. All right. Well, good. Because she's got a lot of it in her future, I think. So that's good.
I think so too. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, as you can imagine, we've been flooded with Hearties questions from all over the world.
Oh, wow.
About this.
Where's the furthest? Where was the furthest?
Let's see, the Netherlands, Argentina. Yeah, well, let's get into it. To start us off, Sarah and Brawny Feely of Newtown, Pennsylvania wonder, what was your favorite scene in season 12 to film, and why does it stand out to you?
My favorite scene in season 12. You know, I got it. That 1920s party felt, and I remember saying this to Erin, like it felt like we were doing something just brand new on the show. Yeah, I guess we were, we've never really
Totally.
stepped into that world, but everything from, what Sarah did, like that was shot in the church too, slash schoolhouse, right? The that Tottie's mansion. So everything from the location to the way Kristen like directed the episode. I think it was the longest oneer we've ever had, where it actually was longer than I think you guys saw, because it originally started outside with two party goers kind of like coming in at this like trumpet being like "Ba-da-ba-da-ba-ba-ba-ba," and then like kind of opening up, and the door opens and she twirls and pulls him in, and then we kind of, I think, everything gets cut for time. um and then from that, we kind of, went through the party and we saw the ladies, and then we went through Toddy and his wife, and then up to that guy dancing, and then the lady with the champagne, and then what, like that. I think that was, I mean, for me, anyways, that was the longest oneer we've ever done, and that specifically stayed on the finished product. We've done a couple oneers before in the past. They tend to get split, cut up a bit, but that one.
Explain to Hearties what a oneer is.
It's pretty simple. It's just one shot.
Okay.
And
Right.
the camera,
So
the
one
camera
long
does
shot.
not stop moving. Yes, it's one long
Nonstop.
shot. I mean, the famous one is, so if you ever see Martin Scorsese's Goodfellas, there's a scene where he takes his wife through the back of a club, and they go through the kitchen and everything, and they ended up like front row seats at the bar. And that's kind of what we did, in all honesty. That was our Scorsese shot. Kristen is our Scorsese.
Nice.
And so, so there was that, and then we had the dancing, and we had the aerial shot of Erin throwing up the confetti, and then, I mean, us singing as well. That was that. What was wild about that was we sang. So I mean, I know that it's out there that like Erin and I kind of fought for that song, or at least it suggested that song. We wanted something a bit more um slow compared to the one. I think what was originally suggested was kind of a little too fast and upbeat, and we wanted something that looked like we were kind of figuring it out before we kind of fell into it.
Yeah.
Um, so when we did that, we wear, similar to how I'm wearing this right now. We wear earwigs, and the playback plays within our ears, and people can't hear it, and you sing, and then later you're able to kind of go in and fix up whatever didn't work out. Um, the earwigs weren't working perfectly that day. We were getting some static, I think, because we were shooting in the schoolhouse. And so we just said, just do the playback, and like we'll just sing to the playback. And they're like, well, we'll have to like, it's going to be harder to, to do this again later, like to do ADR with this. And we're like, it's fine, don't worry about it. We'll just do it. And we did it. And so like we couldn't go back and do ADR because we sang with the track. So what you heard on the day was what we actually did on it. Like that was it, right through a full take. And so all
Wow.
the the fluttering at the the stumbles at the beginning and kind of figuring out, I think it all played really well because it was all really happening. And that's another thing that doesn't happen a lot on the show, where we kind of get to use production fully because there was no other choice. And I also think because it worked out so well too. So
Thank
yeah, that
heavens. Yeah.
yeah. So that was, I just think that was just such a, but definitely my favorite for season 12, because it was just, it's been so different from anything I've done since being on the show.
Yeah. And you're absolutely right. Sarah just killed it with those,
Nailed it.
just that set. And then the extras too. I mean,
Well, everybody, I mean, professional
and of course,
dancers.
Barbara dressing all those extras,
Yeah.
professional dancers, the choreographer, who I know a lot of his work didn't even get showcased, but I mean, the woman with the champagne, I mean, just all of
Well,
it.
and he did Allie's birthday party too.
Oh, he did.
And yeah, and I he did a great job with that too. And again, cut for time, some things, but like Elise really did a great job of kind of doing Hope Valley's Footloose. Specifically, I think she did one shot where like all the feet were dancing as she went kind of along there. And then there was a big like
Oh,
aerial shot that she pulled out, and we got to see everybody. And like again, like he had his professional dancers in there, like mixed among the cast, who could move without a doubt. But I mean, these these professional dancers can really move. And yeah, it would have been nice if there was more time to kind of really showcase what he could do and what his dancers could do. But we were lucky to have them. And I mean, like I said, in that oneer, which again is just one long shot, they told the whole story. It was really those dancers that kind of set the pace, and the background artists as well, like kind of set the mood and the place where we were. So it really felt like a joint effort in a community that day, and it was really fun to be part of. And yeah, I had a good time with that.
All right, so we're gonna throw it all the way back to episode 1 now.
Oh no, I don't remember anything. What happened in
I
episode
know.
1?
Well,
Season 12, right?
Season 12. Yeah.
Okay,
But
yeah.
episode 1 of season 12. We'll set it up for you here. So
Okay.
Caroline Walsh of South Bend, Indiana, said that the barn scene with Hyland melted her heart. When
Thanks,
he
Caroline.
said that Nathan was a hero too. Talk to us about, filming with a small child, a pony, all those different layers that the scene needed to convey.
Well, filming with both a small child and a pony, the similarities between the two of them is they're both unpredictable. You never know what they're going to do.
Yeah.
One might kick you, one might hee-haw. They both might do it at the same time. I don't know. But Hyland is, he's been incredible this whole season. And I think as we move along, I mean, well, actually, we're almost near the end now. So, I mean, you could definitely see he has just really brought it, I think. And that was the beginning of it all. I mean, that was the beginning to see what was going to happen, how he was going to interact with more people in the town. And yeah, he really tugs at the heartstrings in that scene specifically. Like it was just me and him, and and he looked up at me and he said, well, you're a hero too. And that just like, melted Nathan's heart for all the stuff that he was going through in that first episode with Jack and the coin. Yeah, Hyland's just a lot of fun to work with. He's he everybody he's got a lot older, not only in age but also just in wisdom. As he's been part of our show now. Is it 3 seasons he's been with us, or 2? 3. Yeah, yeah, and he's just like when he first joined, he's a kid, and it's Peter, our director. Uh, he'd have these like kind of gifts behind the camera. So if like Hyde looked a certain way, or said the right thing, he got a toy. Um, Less and less that has to happen now. Like, I mean, he understands what he has to do. He was very that scene where I had to we come out of the woods and he's passed out and I've got him. We were we were sitting around in the bush back there waiting for Siobhan to call us. He's talking to me, and I'm just like holding him. We're talking. I'm like, okay, remember, as soon as we get told like you're dead, as soon as we get told like you're dead, you're just gonna pass out. He's not really dead, but like he's
It's all Hearties.
that's no, he's not really dead. That's the game we're playing where he's not gonna move. No, he's not. Or I don't know, is he? I don't know.
Oh,
We'll have to find
stop.
out. But he was just so quick to, he is when he hears action, he drops into it really well. And
Wow.
it was just specifically that first one that you asked about in the barn. We're kind of just chatting and shooting the words. And then when he said that, like that's like an earnest kind of like thing from a kid, and it was just he nailed it, and it was great. We got it, and the moment was fantastic.
And another thing the Hearties have really been a buzz about is Oliver, the Mountie Cadet. We love him.
Oh yeah, right.
We
Oliver.
love him. He's so good. He's been so
Yeah,
much
he is.
fun. And you and Elizabeth needed somebody else to interrupt you guys, right?
I know, he's great at it. He's great at it.
He is.
No, he's great. And Jacob, who's the actor that plays Oliver, he really kind of took to the cast very well, and he was welcomed with open arms, and he's great. He's incredibly well cast for that part. And it's really fun to watch the blossoming love story that is Allie and Oliver right now. I really liked their whole thing where they the Sonny Garrison and his brother kind of end up taking them into the woods and stuff. They have this kind of like Huckleberry Finn storyline where they're kind of
Mhm.
like precociously getting into trouble with but like they've got each other to lean on, and then when anything gets too crazy, the parents are there to like, come in, and it brings the show, I think, to a new level of family that we haven't really seen yet too, where we're starting to see different tiers, like main stories and different tiers. Yeah, to this level anyway. So
Viv from Edmonton, Alberta, loves seeing all these little humor kind of pieces in there. And one of the examples was when Nathan moved the coffee mug out of Oliver's way when just before Hargraves came into the Mountie office. And she's
yeah.
wondering, like, are those moments scripted, or are you guys just kind of coming up with things like that on your own?
It's usually 50-50. I will say sometimes it's scripted, sometimes, you get an impulse and you do it and feel like that's very funny. We're gonna try to keep that in. I think that one was scripted. I'm pretty sure I read it. And it wasn't, it's nice that you saw that, because it wasn't like featured. Like I thought we were gonna do a more funny bit on it, and it was just, I think it played so well at the beginning that, he was kind of a klutz that
It was a
his heart
very dad
his
move.
his heart was in his throat as he was about. He's like, he's here, and it's like, easy kid, as he moves the stuff over. Yeah, it played really well, and it only strengthens that character's like earnestness, that he really,
Mm-hmm.
anytime you're bumping into something, or like you're trying your best but you're kind of, a little goofy or something, like it just, your heart's like, oh, like this, so it works out
Well,
well for him.
yeah, it was kind of a dad move. Like, okay, you just don't want your kid to embarrass themselves, so we're just gonna move that out of the way.
Yeah,
And
or put coffee all over the work that I was doing too. I think
well,
was
yeah,
the
that
other
too.
thing. I don't want to rewrite all this paperwork that I was doing. So
Yeah.
And it
yeah,
feels like the kid is trying so hard all season to impress
yeah,
Nathan. So
yeah,
all the way
yeah.
Mhm.
that manifests is fun to
That's
watch.
because he wants to date his daughter.
I mean,
I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what
we'll
happens with that
see.
story as we go along. But
Yeah,
yes, he
very
is.
good.
He's both the actor and the character are welcome additions to the show. He's great at it. He's very good, and if he wants to keep doing it, I'm sure he'll find the work. And we're very lucky to have him while we do right now.
Well, Kevin, we can't sit down with you without talking about Jaeda. We have
Jaeda Miller.
Jaeda.
Jaeda. She's not here or
We,
anything, is she?
I mean, and surprise, cute
Oh yeah.
she's not. But we do have a Hardy that asks, Amanda Luna of Alabama loves all the ways that Nathan's relationship with his daughter continues to stretch and grow. She wonders, in what ways has Jaeda helped you be a better actor? I think that's a cool question.
Oh, that is a great question.
Hmm.
I've watched Jada, grow up as a person, um, but also as an actor, and specifically these last 2 years, I have had to do nothing but like just sit and be present in what she's doing, and she, if anything, she teaches me now to she helps me. I don't have to do much, honestly, with Jada, except for just like be in that moment with her while we're going through whatever we're going through, whether it's dealing with a birth father that doesn't want to see her, and or this feeling of rejection, and having to tell her that she's worth everything. Jada brings so much, to a scene that I just have to be there with her. She teaches me trust in my partner, and yeah, I'm again lucky to have her as a scene partner in the show.
And for her to learn that at such a young age, and like over the years I've asked many actors that ability to be present that you use that term, and it's so hard to understand from the outside if that's something that's just an intangible that you have or you don't have, or if that just comes from all the training. So like for her to have that at such a young age, is that just a natural thing for her, do you think? Or
I don't know if part of, sometimes I think everybody can do this. Other times, you see some people and you're like, oh,
they're
like
trying too
they're,
hard?
yeah, well, not that you're trying, but that you just don't understand that it is like there is a relaxation. There is a being present really, and just kind of surrendering to what's on the page, or what your partner is kind of giving you. And I don't know, you want it to be good, but you can't think about that too much because you're really just
Mhm.
part of a team. Um, Jack Nicholson says that, like, I think acting is 30% relaxation, 70% if the audience likes you or not. That's really it.
Oh, interesting.
uh,
Yeah.
yeah. So I mean, it's great that she understands about being
Yeah.
present, and
Yeah.
because that is at the any acting class I've ever done, or any theater school background, it's all just about finding a way to convince yourself that it's all really happening and you're present, and then any emotions that come up are all happening organically. You know.
Mm. Well,
Yeah.
we heard McGinty mention that
Oh,
she
McGinty.
he called Oliver Allie's boyfriend, but we're not quite sure that Nathan is onto that yet or has picked on anything. Kimberly Snipes of Kansas City asks, would Nathan feel proud or apprehensive about Allie being romantically involved with a Mountie? I think that's an interesting one too.
That is interesting. Um, I think he would feel proud. I don't think he's ready. I'll say that. I mean, I think it, in the episode where she had her party, he was talking about like a pony party, and he in his mind, she's still 8 years old. And I think this season was for him kind of an eye-opening thing, being like she's growing up and she's interested in boys, and she's interested in lots of other things. Like, she's becoming a young woman who's interested in many things, and Nathan is slowly kind of coming to terms with that. I think he would be proud if she had an interest in a Mountie, or somebody who wants to do good things for the community and wants to give back in a way, whether it's law and order or anything else. Um, yeah, I think that would be a good thing. I think he'd be a little apprehensive too. I mean, he is aware of the dangers of the job, and I think there's lots of good stories in there for sure. Yeah, overall, Oliver would be a pretty good catch for
Yeah. I think
her.
we're waiting for that light bulb to go off for Nathan. Like, wait a second, there's
Yeah. Wait
more
a
going on
minute,
here.
they're always
Come
hanging
on.
out.
Well,
Wait
and
a minute.
not only do we have to get a season 13, but we don't, he's supposed to be leaving. So he may not have to deal with it. I don't
Yeah,
know.
true.
Yeah.
I mean, does
Oh.
anybody ever really leave the show? I
I
guess
know.
sometimes. I don't know.
Oh.
Let's
I
just keep
guess
adding.
I guess
Moving
sometimes
on.
they do.
That is funny.
Oh, too funny. Yeah.
We're going to move now to talking about one of my favorite comedic scenes, which is where Rosemary and Bill are grooming Nathan for what I guess we're calling now the DiMarco
DiMarco.
maneuver.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and sorry, I saw one the other day where it was like Melissa Gilbert, who plays Georgie, was like talking to Rosemary and be like, "Oh, did you do the DiMarco thing?" And like she was getting the credit. And I was like, "I didn't know this scene. Why is she getting the credit for this? I'm the one that went and did Anyways,
a great
I didn't know
point.
that scene existed. I'm happy for them, but I was like, hey, I should be
That is
getting the
great point.
DiMarco
You did
credit
get
for
a
this.
promotion though, which
That's true.
some are questioning the validity of your
Ooh.
rescue there. So I don't
My
know.
promotion?
Yes, you got a promotion
I
on
know,
the
but what did
basis
it?
of the
What did?
Garrison gang.
Well, I kicked that guy. I arrested him.
I think their argument was they weren't the, sharpest tools in the shed to,
Yeah, like not the
to
most
The
menacing
Garrisons?
criminals.
Yeah.
the criminals. Yeah.
Well, they should have given it to me. They should have given me
The
the
DiMarco
promotion for
maneuver.
the DiMarco maneuver, but I
Yes,
guess
that would
pass.
definitely.
They had to give
I agree.
Rosemary something, so they're like, "Well, we'll give him this for kicking that guy while he was down."
Yeah, no, I think the promotion is well earned for all the above, but your walk in that scene was so
Seamless,
hysterical. It
basically
was
James Bond, really.
sauntering, oh my gosh, it was funny. So talk to us about working with Martin Wood on that scene. I know you used the mirrors and the whole thing, but
Yeah. Well, so I asked for those minutes. So there's something that like kind of we came together and figured something out, because Martin tends to have a lot of things kind of planned out when he's working, and he's great. Everybody loves working with Martin. He's really great. And I said, I just see this with a mirror. I see this like, like we're standing in front of the mirror and we're building this character rather than like having a talk and whatever. And it seems more theatrical. It seems like something that like Wyatt Rosemary would be there. And then Erin was like, well, like Martin's thing is mirrors, right? Like he just loves to shoot with mirrors. So like Martin was like, yes, right away. And then planned everything with the mirror. And that was a lot of fun to shoot. I mean, with Pascal and with Jack, just I mean, pros that know what we're doing, but at the same time, we're loose enough that if something, goes a certain way, everybody kind of goes with it. It's very yes and kind of stuff. And and then Pascal kind of theatrically coming up with that character, Nathan like looking at himself again in the mirror at the end.
Oh,
It
that is one of
was
my favorite parts is when you look in them and like you see
yeah, like raised
yourself
his eyebrow,
differently.
like
Like
Like you're starting to believe it finally.
yeah.
so
Like he's
good.
like, oh, there he is. There's Danny. Um, Pascal is it honestly like she's great on the show as Rosemary, but she's a great clown in all honesty. Like she could be a clown if she wanted to. I don't know. I mean, she went to theater school. Maybe she excelled in clowning there. But like she's got that in her. Like she's got a comedian in her. And then Jack is just such a pro. Like he knows he's been doing this forever. He knows what to do in front of the camera, knows which way to look and what to give the camera. And then on top of that, Jack's a bit of a goofball as well. So you've got two people that just know exactly what they're doing. And then, I get to be there as well. And as long as I stay in it, they don't tell me to leave. Yeah, we were able to build this really funny scene and we got to really kind of push the parameters of, how goofy it can get to how serious it is. And I think it was a lot of fun. And Martin was the right director for it too. And I'm happy he was like, yeah, with the mirror. I thought it really worked out well.
when Oliver's going on and on about the cadet hand or the forensic handbook that he read and Bill's
Oh,
trying.
so that was added. That you want to know
What?
what was added? That
Oh,
was
that
added.
makes me
Yeah, yeah.
so happy.
That was
Seriously?
added.
You're like,
Yeah,
oh,
I
I may
remember
have looked
when
at
I think I skimmed the book cover or
Yeah.
whatever.
okay.
Yeah, because I
Really?
think the line was something like I read it once and I was like, it's not funny enough. I said it's got to be like really ribbing them for this stuff. So yeah, that was added,
Perfect.
and they went with it.
Awesome.
I did
Yeah.
say the original line though. I did do the promo, but then yeah, that was
That's all
added.
good.
I
It's all
guess it
good.
was
No,
funny.
I loved that. And then also the scene where you're like, dance party? Is that a thing?
Oh,
And
and then Jack gives like a snap. Yeah, that look, and then it like comes in on me, and I'm wondering, and half of it was like, did Jack just snap and walk away?
He like
Um,
owned that moment. Like in his head, he was the hippest man in Hope
oh, he
Valley in
was
that
he was
moment.
John Travolta walking down to Saturday Night Live Fever, without a doubt. And I will say, and there was another scene too, just talking about John Travolta and Saturday Night Live Fever. Ben Rosenbaum had a whole like dance that got cut from that episode.
Yes, he's shared about that.
Oh,
Yeah.
did he? Okay, that
Yeah.
was also very funny.
darn,
Yeah,
darn.
yeah, it would have been really great.
Oh
And what?
my.
Yeah, what was funnier for me is that he had, they shot his thing and he danced, and it was very funny. Ben's very great. And but then they had to turn around and get the coverage of the kids like looking at him like, who is this guy? And Ben was dancing on the other end of the camera, and Elise was directing, and she's, kind of yelling things to the kids to react to, and she's like, who is this guy? Whose dad is this? What a loser. Like Ben's dancing on the other side of the camera to all of this.
Oh man.
Anyways, and all for naught. All for naught. You didn't even see it. He
Oh,
was
Oh,
just
that's
humiliated that
gold.
day.
Oh
Yeah,
my
I
God.
thought it was gold. Made me laugh.
painful.
But anyways, back to the other dance
Yeah,
cam,
yeah. And,
Jack.
and back to the mirror thing. I really think that when you took on that like little look in the mirror, it was like the beginning of the alter ego or the persona. And you guys kind of played with that multiple
Yeah.
times, Diane DiMarco having an accent, the
Well,
whole
so that was added too. I said so we did I think we shot the thing, and then Erin did that like the accent, and I was like, so that was just me being like, oh, she has an accent now, and Erin's like, that's really funny. You should say that on the thing. So anyway, so that
great.
was added as
Oh my
well.
gosh,
That
good.
one definitely
But
gave me
yes.
Aaron and Kevin vibes when you said
Yeah.
that.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, that's an accent. Yeah, Erin's been really fun to play, and she's just so open to bringing stuff, and Yeah,
Yeah.
it was great, and yeah, we've had a lot of fun with the whole Diane and Danny DiMarco
Oh,
stuff.
no, yeah.
One of my favorite relationships on the show is the Nathan and Jack relationship, or say the Nathan and Bill relationship, that has kind of, to me, I think it's one of the, for Nathan, one of the richer, um, like not dichotomy, but like a richer arc that they've had together. Like they really kind of came butting heads and opposing, and fighting over the desk and who's in charge and what's going on. And they were kind of both headstrong individuals, and they've kind of really, and then they've kind of gone to partnery. And so as we see, like Bill has become like kind of a father figure to Nathan as well. And I think that was something that I asked for as well. That I was like, I think this is here. I want Jack to be this, like, I want Nathan to feel helpless and to feel broken and not know and know that he can't go to Elizabeth because he has to be a rock through this whole thing. And who would he go to? I think it would be Bill who would be the one. And if you look at that scene versus where they first met, where they were fighting over
Exactly.
the desk, I think that has just been an incredible arc for
Wow.
two characters. Yeah.
Melissa Guillory of Braintree, Massachusetts, said playing Danny DiMarco, the shady coin dealer in season 12, must have been a wild ride. She said, ask for your favorite part, and you may have already shared it. So,
My favorite part of playing Danny.
yeah.
Um, yeah, I mean, drinking the martini, wearing the white I mean, and you guys know that I was asking for the white jacket as well too. I was like, please, Barbara, if this can happen, can we put me in a white jacket that because it was supposed to pop too. He's supposed to stand out. And I was like, there's the Indiana Jones movie, and the second one, Harrison Ford wears this white tuxedo.
If
And I
it's
was
not
lucky that
Star
she loved it.
Wars, it's Harrison.
It
It's all,
exactly, Indiana Jones, and
yeah,
then
Indiana
James
Jones stuff.
Bond.
You have a
Um,
list that you're going down, don't you? A list
Yeah,
of your dreams.
eventually I'll have a Batman mask for season 13, and then for season 14, I'll have a Superman symbol under the under
Okay.
the. There'll be a thing where he pulls his the surge, and it'll be Superman, and
Another
then that's
fever
it. And
dream.
then yeah, another fever dream, well, I had the curl for the fever dream.
Good story.
Um,
Oh, too funny.
so with the DeMarco thing, my favorite. Yeah, I think just playing the James Bond, the card game was really fun. Um, But you know what? Actually, what was really great was the scene where we were trying to get our stories straight.
Yeah.
I mean, with Toddy and is what is Diane? No, Diane's Aaron's character. What did
Fruity.
Toddy was
Trudy.
married? Trudy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like and Trudy, the actress that
We're
played Trudy was
great.
fantastic. She was like hiccuping and because she was drunk on champagne, and yeah, Toddy, he was great too. They were both just really well cast, and with Erin trying to like figure out their stories and be like, oh yeah, and realize they both misstepped and
Yeah.
having to get ourselves into this place. That was a super fun scene to shoot as well. And then the song, I mean, that whole day. I mean, honestly, just playing Danny DeMarco was super fun and so out of what I've been doing with Nathan. So yeah, I liked it all.
Yeah. And people did say, like, I want to see him do some Mountie stuff. And I was like, that is Mountie
I
stuff.
was gonna say that's what
How
we're
does it
doing.
get more Mountie than going undercover? It's so
Yeah.
great.
We've got one more question,
All right.
kind of about the singing sort of stuff. Marissa Myrick Patek of Florida says her favorite part of season 12 was having you and Erin sing together. And now that we've had Nathan sing for 2 seasons in a row, if we get a season 13, how are you going to top it?
He does stand-up comedy. He opens the open mic
Wow, I love
at the
it.
saloon,
Okay.
and he
We
says,
haven't seen that.
"What's
Comedy on
what's
the
the deal
radio.
with Mounties, huh? Huh? What? I don't know." So I was writing. I'm trying to think of yeah. No, I don't know. How are we going to top that? I hope there's something. I mean, I've there was some rumors of some stuff that might happen if we get a season 13 and what could go on. I don't know. I don't know if they'll expand on the singing or they say we did it. Now we can move on to something else. Um, but I'm game for whatever. whatever they do. Stand-up comedy. No, that's a bad. You should do stand-up.
No,
Parties
Viv
are
has
angling
done
for more of
stand-up.
like a musical.
Oh, you want to? Well, so
Yeah,
th-
like
you
a whole
know, at
episode.
one point there was some in the ether somewhere. There exists one episode that was supposed to be a musical episode, and it was apparently it was a great episode. I don't know. It just some things go one way and then they
Just
turn to go
not
the other
meant to
way
be.
and changes and anyways, it's out there somewhere. I don't know where, but maybe we'll see it. Maybe we'll see it. And now that we've opened up with the Fever Dreams, you could kind of get away with a musical episode and then be like,
Ooh,
hey,
there you go.
You could.
Ooh,
they were dreaming.
I like it.
Because it would be tough for everybody to sing. Because we've kind of done the choir stuff a little bit. I mean, Joseph sang, Viv sang a little bit, that a cappella song. And Ben's always singing. Can't get that guy to stop. He's always in the choir. Um,
Beautifully
so
done.
yeah, we've got it if it happens.
Mhm.
Well, song and dance related, Elizabeth Motter from Formosa, Argentina. She noticed, I think in season 11 as well as in season 12, the scene where you're dancing with Elizabeth in the chapel. You put her hand under yours on your heart, and she wonders where that gesture came from.
Oh, I mean, that would have been
It's very suave. It's very
feeling it on the day, I guess. Oh
yeah,
yeah,
no, it's
I
very
mean,
dear. But I
yeah,
guess
that would
it's
have
been
just
repeated, so yeah.
like wait, we've done it before?
I guess you have done it before. She's saying that
Oh.
she said she thinks it's been in two scenes. So there
Well,
you
we did. So, I mean, I think that's how we danced when we were in the
Oh,
saloon, and they kind
okay, so
of,
that makes more
they
sense. Yes.
yeah, and I
it's
remember
Nathan's
that
move.
it's Nathan's move, the heart touch.
Her move.
When calls the heart touch. He the one thing I do remember dancing in the saloon, or not the saloon, the schoolhouse, was the dip that basically was like the
So
back breaking dip for the Erin posted on the. So we did a couple different
Okay.
variations of the stuff, and that was one where it's like that was a dip where she was like basically her hair was almost on the ground, and then we didn't use that one, but I thought that picture was really cool that she posted on Instagram. It looked really great.
Okay, Brian Shively of Lake Havasu, Arizona, notices that season 12 Nathan seems to be happier and easygoing. Talk to us a little bit about what you kind of imagine to be the difference because Nathan's in love. How's that kind of influenced his life? Because he kind of seems new to the whole long-term relationship thing.
He is new to the whole long-term relationship thing. I don't think he's
Yes.
really been in a relationship. He couldn't get one going for a while. Um, yeah, I think for sure, Brian, like he is happier for sure these past two seasons. I mean, you can see it. Um, I think when he first showed up to Hope Valley, he had some baggage, and there was he was coming from a darker place with his sister passed away, and his his dad was a criminal, and I guess we still haven't heard too much about his mom, but like and coming on to he was a guy that held. This sounds Lucas, but it's Nathan, a guy that held his cards close to his chest in a way that he wasn't as open as a lot of the other characters on the show. And I think he did that in a way to protect people, and this idea that if you let them in, then they run into danger. So to keep everybody at arm's length, it's just safer for everybody, and then he can just do his job. And that was kind of how he was originally you know created and talked about with Alfonso. But like, I mean, you got to go somewhere. You can't just like stay in that state for forever. So I think right around the third season, or my third season on that, so after Nathan, being on there for a little while and having feelings for Elizabeth and kind of being like, oh, maybe it could be this different person. And then also, the different relationships, like I mentioned with Bill. And then also watching Allie grow up and seeing how much there's that whole episode where he decides to stay because she just feels like it's home. Like it's clearly they've been traveling for a long time and
Mhm.
she's just happy there. So he makes a decision. So not only is it that he's, he's found love, and he's happy to be with Elizabeth, but I think he's just happy to be in Hope Valley, and I think he's just found a home that he can be in and he can stay in,
Mhm.
and he is thrilled, and he feels like he's at home, I think, at in Hope Valley, and not only with Elizabeth, and clearly that's a big part of his joy, but also just the whole community, and finding a place in the world. Yeah.
So, how do you put yourself in the shoes of somebody who's a novice at love, kind of in that time era?
I've never been in love before until I met Kayla, so that's really
Aw.
Stop, really?
Oh,
no. Well, yes.
We like the
Oh
Hallmark
no.
story.
Did you see us all
Uh-oh.
melting? We were like,
oh,
I mean, everybody knows what it feels like to fall in love, and whether it's the first time or whether it's been a little bit and you're falling in it again, it always feels good and exciting, and kind of feels like the world has all this hope, and yeah, it's not hard to wrap your head around. It's tougher to get into a gloomy spot, I think, than it is than to get into a spot where you're like, oh, I like, yeah, I think everybody knows what it's like when you fall in love with somebody. So yeah, not hard, I guess, is my question. Or is my answer. Not hard.
It transcends time, is what you're saying. Doesn't
Yeah,
matter
that's a
what
better
era
way.
you're
It
in.
transcends time.
well, it's so cool this season to see now that they're committed to each other. It's just so cool to see him making these, he's like freer to make these big romantic gestures and express his love to her. And it's just so refreshing to see them to be able to have
Yeah.
this comfort between them and this romance. And
Yeah, I think one of their strengths is they just have this really great trust with each other, and you really feel them like building a life, but also themselves with each other forward. Like there's a problem that happens, they talk about it around the dinner table, they talk about it, whatever, and then they go out and they're each other's cheerleaders and supporters, and they're there for them when they have these hard times, or when I think they got into a fight with the whole Oliver thing, with remember that episode, the dance episode. I think when Nathan apologizes, says, I'm lucky to have you when I'm wrong and you were right. Like, I mean, these are real things and that happen in relationships, and I think, yeah, they're one of their biggest strengths is that they have this mutual respect for each other. And it's not always pretty, it's not always roses and stuff, but it's they she can always count on him and he can always count on her, and I think that'll make for great storytelling as we move along.
I think
yeah,
that's
this
kind of the
season is
beauty of Hope Valley, though, because like you guys are obviously in the 1920s, but blended families are something that's everybody's dealing with, and
Yeah,
so seeing all of that it's really
yeah,
beautiful.
and a way to, like it challenges each of them, because like Elizabeth having, she's got the kids at school, but I mean, to be a mother figure to a daughter, well, a
Mhm.
girl, specifically a teenager, and and Nathan to be kind of like a father figure to a young boy who, it's, yeah, there's challenges there for each of them, they'll be rewarding, but yeah, it's a nice dichotomy they've got going on. So yeah.
and so many layers added for them this season.
Oh,
It just
absolutely.
must be really
Yeah.
cool for you as actors to have these new
Hmm.
layers to add. So
Yeah.
yeah.
And not only, like sometimes the writers will introduce an idea that we won't touch on again until, next season or something. So like, even the beginning of the the first episode of season 12, this wrestling idea that, he's this father figure to Jack, but he's connected in a way to the passing of his real father. And, he's gonna have to like answer for that in a way, and
Mhm.
what that's gonna look like.
Mhm.
It's
Mhm.
Yeah.
it's interesting. It's not
Yeah.
it's not nothing to sit back on. So I think it's great. It'll be good storytelling.
Yeah. Well, another new fun layer that we added this year was led by some cough syrup that was so
Oh yeah.
the show dips
Yeah,
into
that
the
cough syrup that
romance. Yeah,
that that cough syrup was 40 proof. It was like,
Yeah.
So we dipped into some romance novel material this season, as you know, they did so comically with the fever dreams. So we've heard there's been lots of chatter about these fever dreams, but we haven't heard from you about them. So what was
well,
your
what have you heard before I say anything?
oh, all kinds of Hearties are all over the board about them, but I mean, it was a hoot. Let's just say
It
that.
was super. Yeah,
Yeah.
and it was to shoot, and it was another story that was kind of being built, as with the input of a lot of other people as we were kind of building that story. A big thing was Nathan's dream, what that was going to look like at the
Yeah.
end, and he got
Which we
sick.
gather was added later.
It was
That
added. I
wasn't
mean,
in the
it
original.
was. Yeah, it wasn't. I mean, it wasn't added like the day
That
of,
much
but it
later.
was.
Yeah.
By the time we got the episode, it was added, but it wasn't originally in the first one. And then it was the question of what that dream would look like. Would it be this similar dream to what Elizabeth's having, like a hot for teacher thing, or would it be like, this lovey-dovey thing? I made a pitch. It didn't get.
You
They
made
didn't
your
take it.
pick.
I made a pitch, and it was not chosen. But I will say, I think what was chosen for Nathan's was like it. I thought it worked. It was the most dreamlike I thought it because of the sheets. Um, and looking through each other through the sheets, and we got lucky with that day too with the light, kind of the sun kind of
Yeah.
peering down through them and finding, and those dreams were cut too by we, just again with the timing and stuff. So that cat and mouse search went on a bit longer before they found each other, and it was a bit more like, and there was some really nice piano in it at one point too. I remember it was just really sweet, I thought. The one thing I did get, I did ask for the dog, that he wakes up and he's kissing the dog.
Oh
I thought
no,
that would be fun.
seriously? That was
Yeah,
you?
I was just like, yeah. Well, I mean, I
That's
definitely
fantastic.
asked for it. I mean, yeah, I was just like, I think this would be really
That's
funny. He wakes up and
fantastic.
he's kissing the dog. But the first two, we shot them. There was a couple ways we shot. It was yeah, again, a big first on the show. And the way, it was fun, but it was also we got to see, I thought, Erin did a great job at playing sick. I couldn't get that voice. Like she had that kind of nasally voice.
Yeah.
Like I can't do it without like sounding like Kevin a little bit actually. But Kevin's got that nasally high voice. He's like, no, I don't, but
He's gonna love that, by the way.
yeah, he knows it. He knows it. But Erin like really found that really
Did.
is almost charming, that heady thing, and then like when he's pouring her tea and they're kind of having this like flirty, um, sick conversation. It just like I thought that worked really well, and Aaron was great at kind of spacing out and coming back in, and it was just fun to see your heroine like under the weather, like it had to
Yeah.
kind of be an episode about her, but like she wasn't also in it. Like it was, yeah, I thought it was really fun, and yeah, those dreams were wild.
Did the two of you
Were
just laugh? I feel like you would laugh through the
Oh
first two.
yeah.
The first two
I mean,
especially, or the come
the
on, the
yeah.
bucket of water.
Oh yeah. No, you're telling me. I remember again, but I was freezing. I was
I
like,
was
this
gonna
is
say, how many times did you
insane.
have to do the bucket of water?
Right.
Um, I think I only did it once. I think the bucket was only once.
Okay.
Maybe we did it twice. I'm trying to think because we had Pam and
Yeah.
Yeah, because
and
you'd have
Jill
to
there.
dry the hair and do a whole thing if you, yeah.
Yeah, no, I think, but there was the dream went on a bit longer than what you saw. So there was like some like hay that like was itchy and stuff on the stuff, and it went on a bit longer, and it was insane. And even the first one when he like comes to the door, um, he's like, I heard it said, and he's like, I'm here to make sure you're okay or whatever. And like picks her up and puts her down. It was like it just felt, very telenova. Uh,
Yeah.
you know, at the time I was shooting it, you got to
Yeah.
be like, right, this is a joke, just stay in it and don't point out that the dreams are like, the more serious
Right.
you play this telenova stuff, the funnier it'll be.
Yeah. Oh, that's true. Yeah.
And how jarring the first one would have been because you're like, what is this? Like when he opens the door and like it's all black behind him. He's like, where is he coming from? What's going on? And then there was one for the second one too. Again, when it was shot longer, where Erin's walking into the stables and it looks normal for a while, but then as she gets closer in, like all these flowers and everything comes and like the camera kind of
Wisteria
turns
everywhere.
and yeah, wisteria, and you're like, what's going on? And then it's fun to play with the audience in a way that you think you're watching something and then you kind of flip it on its head and
Mhm.
it's you're in a dream world.
Yeah.
And then the sudden quick wake up,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's fun.
Well, and
So
Martin Wood told us that he played with you a bit with the peanut butter with the dog licking your face, that he kept doing like several takes when he'd already gotten the shot.
oh, you already got the shot? Oh, good.
Oh, you didn't know
Great.
that? Yeah.
No, of course not. I was like, I'm just sitting there because I know the camera's there, and I was like, okay, and I couldn't see where they were putting it, so I knew he was coming, and I just had to pretend like I was asleep. So, oh, good to know he got the shot already, and I just did that 2 extra times or 3 extra times. Good, good. Well, happy to be there for everyone's enjoyment. Yeah,
Too
I
good.
thought it worked
Yeah.
out well too, and I was
Yeah, it
happy
was
that he got to end with like him kissing the dog and being like, what? Yeah.
pivoting to our emotional episode we just saw last night, episode
Oh
11.
wow, that's a strong pivot.
I know, yeah,
Ooh, it
very.
is. I
I
know.
saw
Take
that
it
on the list, and I
down.
was like, I'm going to be doing a dance to pivot from that
Yeah.
one to the next. But oh my word, Kevin, like, first of all, one of my favorite episodes I think ever on the show.
Oh wow.
Your performance, the scene, we have to talk about that scene you mentioned with Jack Wagner. Um, you have made me tear up before. I think this was the first time I was like full on tears coming down the face. That there's something about
Oh,
two, two men sharing those feelings. Like seriously, such a great performance. So talk to us about that scene. How do you as an actor prepare? Like, do you and Jack kind of talk through it ahead of time, or is that kind of more you want to go into it with raw and just feel the emotion of the scene, or
well, that first of all, thank you. That's really nice of you to say. Thank you. That's nice. You don't always get to hear what other people think of the work. Um, yeah, that one specifically, to go back to kind of what I was saying 20 minutes ago when we talked about this. I again, we were kind of a bit more vocal as the season went on about some things that like we wanted to do, and we knew this thing was coming up, and we knew Nathan's role was going to be a rock, in this for Elizabeth. Like that's his main thing, that he's going to be there. And I really wanted a moment where he was going to break down, or like that you get to see him. I remember talking to Erin about it. She was like, "Oh, I love that idea. This is really great." And I was like, "I think it should be with Jack." And then I talked to Joy, and then we ended up like coming up with this thing where he gets to just be so vulnerable to this guy who has been his best friend, and his and it's not even that he's like, oh, I think honestly he would have opened up to anybody, I think, at that point, because it's just like he was just alone for a second, like thank God it wasn't like Emily or something. He's like, oh, my life. But but it was, and Bill's there, and we do this scene, and there's this power. I love the idea of a protector or a Mountie or a police officer or a knight or a bodyguard or whatever it is, like just not being able to do their job because they can't touch the bad guy. The bad guy doesn't. The bad guy is something that they can't get at because they don't, and it's really this like the first time that I think Nathan just felt incredibly powerful. Like there was nothing he could do except stand quietly behind Elizabeth and just be there for her. And I think we all kind of can understand what that is, when things are out of our realm of possibility, or out of our realm of doing, that you just, you're powerless. And it's I think that's the hardest thing, I think, to just stand with somebody and tell them that it's going to be okay when sometimes you don't know if it's going to be okay, and being able to have that scene with Jack, to be able to just, you know, tell the truth, I think, at that moment. Not that he wasn't telling, like, not that he's not, but just to really kind of unload and be like, I'm just as scared as she is, but I can't, say anything. And then when Jack put his hand on he kind of does this father figure thing where he ends up, and that was, I don't know if that just seemed to happen where I was sitting on the edge of the couch and he was standing up, and like this kind of father figure kind of happened. This um yeah, this image where, Jack reached out and put his hand on me and was like, you're doing the right thing. And it was just this really magical thing. And I remember Mike Roll, who was kind of this, he was there most days, kind of making sure everything was running smooth. And he was just like, at the end, like, that was really good. He said, I didn't know you had that in you. And I was like, thanks a lot, first of all. But yeah, he was like, it's really special. So that's really nice. I'm happy that you enjoyed it and that it moved you, because yeah, it moved me in the moment too, and I was really happy I got to do it with Jack.
Well, in any families in the Hardydom that have had, any kind of child with a diagnosis, having that helpless feeling, I think is so related to so many of them. And they saw a little bit of themselves in you. And yeah,
Yeah,
really
yeah,
powerful. One of my
yeah. Not
favorites
only
ever.
with not only with a child, but just with anything where you just have to kind of just put hope and and prayer and you just, it's really out of your hands, except for the, like I said, hope is what you've got. And I think he was shaken a little bit there, and he was lucky to have Bill to kind of, remind him why he was there and what he was doing. And yeah, yeah,
When
it
you
was
finish,
special. It was.
when you finished the scene, did it kind of take you by surprise how emotional it was, or did you expect that going in, really?
No, I mean, honestly, they all took me by surprise. I never am like nailed it, or or to be like it was exactly as I planned, because it never is. And but yeah, no, I was just in it, and everybody was firing on all cylinders, and it was great. Yeah, it worked out well.
What was particularly moving about it was like these two men relating about we can do nothing, and it's
Totally. And these two men who are police officers who are used to be like, there's the bad guy, go get him and arrest
You
him. We
did it,
saved the
yeah.
day. Let's go. Like it's two guys that, they again, like they can't get the bad guy. The bad guy, the thing that is causing the person hurt, they're so used to being like, I can look after this, but they
Mhm.
can't. And,
Yeah.
you know, Jack's character, Bill, had enough wisdom to know kind of your job is to be there right now. But it was really tough, and you're right. And to see two men, in a show sometimes that doesn't really get to show that side, I think, to some of the males on the show. It was not, it was great to play vulnerable, to kind of just
Mhm.
sit in it and see what
Yeah.
happens. So yeah.
yeah,
Well, speaking of Jack's diagnosis, Hardy Melissa Gilroy of Longville, Louisiana, asked how will his diagnosis change things between Nathan and Elizabeth going forward?
Well, I can't tell you that. There's one
I know we
episode
only have a
left.
finale left. I'm not
I
sure.
mean,
for all
I, I,
ears.
I could tell you, but I think it would ruin it for a lot of people. But it will change the course of those characters' reality.
Wow, because we had a little catharsis after 11 that it was like, okay, this insulin is working and yada, yada, yada. But
It is working. It's working.
switching gears entirely again, Hardy's really love. I know we're just
We're
like,
trying to give you
Yeah.
whiplash.
oh,
What are
you
you
know,
gonna?
What episode are we
put
going back to now?
everything in. Yeah, people just love seeing Lucas and Nathan together. It was just
Oh yeah.
fun in episode 10 to see them confront MacGinty in the pasture, the big face off. Um, and then, as we go into this final episode, there's evidently going to be this dovetailing of the mystery and the gold coin, solving that whole thing. So, can we expect Nathan and Lucas both to triumph in this season finale?
We will see them work together again. Um, and yes, both of them move to a positive place at the end of season 12, um, with maybe one of them having their reality shattered. um, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. Yeah, things go great for both of like
Okay.
together. They're
Okay.
you got to tune in. You got to
Tune
tune
in.
in and
Okay.
see.
All right. Okay.
Tune in and see. They will work together again.
Okay.
So you'll see them both on screen again together.
Okay. You've been on this show for 6 seasons. It kind of blows
Wow.
my mind. I know.
Me too.
Should
7. Isn't
should
it
Lucky
7?
7 seasons. You're right. 7.
Wait, is it 7? 6,
Well,
7.
I
I
joined in
was never
6.
good at math.
Me neither. I joined in 6, right?
Yeah. So then 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, 7.
7.
7.
That's what I meant to say. 7 seasons.
Yeah. Wow.
Um,
You lose count. We've all lost
yeah,
count. It's
indeed.
crazy.
Yeah. English major here. Should season 13 be granted to us? See what I did there.
Yeah.
What will keep this story fresh for you and for us?
Erin and I've talked about never really seeing Nathan's mom and bringing her in and who would possibly play that part. So we might get to see a bit more of
Wow. Do you
Nathan's
have
family that we
who do
haven't
you want to
seen.
see? Who do you want to see play the part?
Oh, Sally Field. I don't know.
Whoa. Dream
No,
big.
I don't know. Can we get Sally Field?
Yeah.
Wow.
There's some people that we've talked about, so I don't know. We'll see. Whoever plays it'll be amazing. And yeah, I think there's something there we could do. Again, with the changing of one's reality, I think we might there is this the season the potential season 13 could be rife with the new story for Elizabeth and Nathan and little Jack and Allie. And
Promotion gonna lead to anything? He said it was just a title change, but that's
for what?
the
Oh, are
pro
you talking the
the
promotion?
promotion, yeah. Are we gonna have to call you chief now or yeah.
Oh yeah, maybe he gets Bill's. No, Bill. He becomes the judge. And we send Bill off to pasture.
Get the
No,
fight over the desk.
yeah, and then I get the desk at the end. Yeah, yeah. I think moving in, if we're lucky enough to get a season 13, it Nathan and Elizabeth will be in a spot that they've never been before. Um, and I think, anyways. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what's planned, but I where we leave them, um, is in a realm of new territory. Um, and yeah, I think that's maybe best way I don't want to say anything and give anything away. So after you watch the last episode, you'll be able to see what a new what could be what could happen in season 13 for Nathan, Elizabeth, little Jack, and Allie.
And Hearties
Go
will
in a
now
lot of directions.
yeah, and they will now fill our comment sections with their ideas for who will play your mom.
Yeah, put it down here.
Drop your
We'll take
comments.
drop your comments. We'll reach out to the top 3.
I mean, we did score Melissa Gilbert this year,
It's
so
true.
the possibilities are endless. You
We
just
could put a wig on her and she could play 2 parts.
I
You
mean,
know?
if Hallmark
Different
wants to save
accent.
some money,
Yeah.
that's a
Yeah.
choice.
Save some money. Yeah, she could do like a Cockney accent. It would be delightful.
So, Kevin, I was also dared by one of your co-stars to ask you about the episode 10, the last scene where Jack gets his diagnosis. Apparently, something happened there. So, I was dared to ask you what exactly went down.
First of all, I need to know who dared you to ask me this. Was it
It was
Andrea?
no, it was
Was
Erin.
it Erin?
It was
Okay.
Erin.
Well, Erin is part of this. And Erin has the proof somewhere if you want to see. But so we all know what happened at the end of episode 10. Faith Carter comes to Elizabeth's house and they're sitting down and they're worried and she goes, "We've got the results in. Little Jack has diabetes." And Erin goes, "But there's no cure for diabetes." And then Faith goes, "I know." And then what was scripted in the line is Nathan then goes, "So what does this mean?" and and I was like, I can't say at the end of this. So what? Like he's not catching on what's going on. Like at the end, he's like,
Right.
"So what does this mean?" Or, you know? And so I tell Erin that I was like, "I'm not going to be able to say this because I feel like an idiot." And so we do, and it's just like it's a very serious scene. Everyone's in it, you know. Andrea's in it, Erin's in it, and then it goes to me, and then I have to go. So what does that mean? Or what are you saying? And then I start laughing, and then everybody's and because well, I told everybody in the room, you know, I told everyone that's shooting, and the crew's laughing too because they're all like, you, because it was I think the intentions were right to be like, so what's that like hopeful, but it didn't sound hopeful. It sounded like Nathan was not catching on to what was happening,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and
It's like he was
you know,
hiccup, like,
Like he
wait,
was a
what?
few
totally.
steps behind.
Totally. Yeah. It's like, so what is that? Is that bad or is that good? You know, and that was the last line of the episode. So I was like, this is gonna be, I can't do it. So then I try it, I laugh, we all stop. Erin scolds me, and then we pick up, and then Erin bursts out into laughter. And you know, she can't do it. And then we ended up Siobhan was directing it, and she's like, anyways, and she ended up calling it. She's like, Kevin, don't say anything, just sit there and take the thing. And then we had to do it. But so if Erin dared you to ask me that, when you talk to Erin, I imagine you'll talk to her at the end, right? She's like the last one you do. Yeah. Ask her for the footage because the footage is quite funny. I mean, it's more funny than me telling you guys this. But just know that when you do watch the footage, because I know she's going to show it to you, um, like there's no way I could say this line without Nathan sounding like he just didn't understand the situation, you know, like, and it was the last line of the episode. Like we would have faded to black, and
Right.
Yeah.
And people
know,
would have been
executive,
like, wanted to smack him upside the
Yeah.
head. Like, what's this?
Yeah. No,
just
the
like, yeah, he just
stillness
doesn't
worked
understand.
so much better. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh no, it was the right thing to cut the line. Um, but if you watch the blooper is quite funny. So get Erin to pull it up when you talk to her.
Just as payback, what does an Aaron scold
Yeah.
look like?
Well, you'll have to see the blooper. You got to ask for the blooper. It's all on there.
Or if you
I've
think of
never
a
seen an Aaron scold.
yeah.
Oh, she the wrath of Erin. You don't want it.
Well, Kevin, we've taken up a lot of your time, so we appreciate you taking some time. Your performance this season, you've knocked it out of the park, and so thank you. Between taking time out of your Oscar parties and your birthday
Yeah.
shenanigans, we appreciate you. So thank you
Well,
for being here.
thank you all for doing this, and it means a lot, you know, that you guys run this group and that you care this much, and I'm happy to be part of this and to give back to the fans.
Yeah.
So thanks you guys for running this.
Well, Hearties are going to love catching up with you, so we appreciate it. Hearties, thank you for watching. Thanks for joining us. And I can't believe it. The finale, you guys, are we ready? I don't know. Are we ready, Kevin? Just give us a
I mean,
yes.
I couldn't be more ready if I tried.
All right. He's ready. Let's hope we are. Sunday, 9/8 Central. Let's make it like our biggest yet, Hearties. Can we show up and trend on Twitter? We bring that hashtag Hearties. And then join our podcast you won't miss anything if you subscribe to our podcast on YouTube and then all your favorite podcast channels. And thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time on Heart Hearties.